Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Redmen TV and your latest episode of Expert Insight. My name is Dan Clubb. I'm absolutely delighted to say I'm joined by a man who has ensured me it's fine to just call him Jimi. He's a football data analyst. You will have seen him on Twitter. I'm absolutely certain of it. Jimi, how are you doing, mate? You okay?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. Hi, everybody. I hope I can give some insights and I will try to analyze Zubimendi's profile and compare his stylistic approach to other current Liverpool players.
Amazing, yeah. Well, let's do that. You've been very busy over the course of the last 48 hours, trying to do all the things that you've just described there in the shape of business. We're going to have a conversation in and around some of the things that you've discovered right now, because to watch Martin Zubimendi, he just looks like a very composed, elegant, highly intelligent, very classy, very typical Spanish midfielder in a lot of ways, actually. But there's clearly a lot more to his game, to that, the underlying numbers and the stuff that you've managed to unpack and discover. So let's begin. I guess, Jimi, as we're talking about a defensive midfielder, let's try and kick off with that defensive stuff then, if we can. What have you noticed from the defensive side of his game that makes him the right fit, I guess, for Liverpool, if indeed you think he is the right fit? What is it about what he does that is so stylistically suited to this Arne Slot Liverpool side that we've literally seen play 3 times?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to highlight his press-resistant ability. He's very good to receive the ball, and if he gets pressure, he can pass the ball to his teammates. He can be very good in these build-up situations. If Slot likes to use a 4-2 build-up shape, he could be very great next to McAllister, for example. I think from Zubimendi we could expect better ball playing ability than for example from Endo. And this is the biggest difference. Of course, Endo's defensive numbers are great. I think Zubimendi's defensive numbers are, I would say, similar to Endo's in the La Liga from last season, but the biggest difference is his on the ball skills and his intelligence to what he can do with the ball, how he can progress the ball to the middle third, to the final third. These stuffs are the biggest difference for me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about his recoveries, and I know you've picked up on that as well, comparing him to what Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai were able to do in Liverpool, obviously, last season. Have you noticed that? Have you sort of spotted the fact that he does particularly excel in that area?
Yeah, I think recoveries is one of his biggest strengths overall. In the last season he made 196 recoveries in the La Liga, and only McAllister 195 and Szoboszlai 171 made more recoveries from Liverpool's current squad. So interceptions as well, I would add to his arsenal: recoveries, tackles, and he's very good aerially. I've checked his area success. It's 65.2% of his area duels won rate. If we compare it to the big five leagues central midfielders, he's in the top 5% among other midfielders who have played at least 30% of game type. So yeah, he likes to engage in ground duels, and his success rate is very good in those situations, and he's very good in the air, although he's not a really tall player, 177 centimeters, if I say well. Yeah, so he's as you said, as you mentioned, he's a typical Spanish, I would say, holding midfielder. In my everyday work, we are doing player profiling based on their advanced stats, based on their underlying numbers, based on their playing style, and our algorithm says that he's a typical holding midfielder who likes to give the ball, who likes to likes to keep the ball, likes to tick the sequences, and he's very, very good in those situations.
Okay, yeah, I've got the Peter chart that you did here on a 23-24 season, and in the tweet that I'm looking at, it says it shows he's superb defensively. He's also got good possession-related stats compared to other midfielders. Now, you mentioned ground jewels there. One of the things that doesn't necessarily stand out in terms of it is his tackling. It doesn't seem to be, for those listening and not watching, it's not particularly high compared to some of the other numbers. Is that because he isn't winning enough tackles, or is that because he's not making enough tackles? And what I mean by that is his interceptions and his anticipation, his positioning, his awareness, that all seems to excel. Therefore, he doesn't need to make so many tackles. Does that make sense? Is that kind of what we're looking at here?
Yeah, on the pizza chart, tackles includes just the volume of tackles, one thing, and also the success rate of those tackles. So it can be that he engages himself in a lot of tackles, but his success rate is not so well, or could be reverse the situation. I have to dig deeper into details, but I didn't check this. Part of his game, but tackling is not his main skill. Recoveries and interceptions, he's better in those ones. And I would say the Real Sociedad style is very much how to say explain this situation, because it can come from how Real Sociedad approaches the game and how they played. But his tackling is about league average 95 percentile. That means he was better than half of the central midfielders in the La Liga last season. So I would say it's okay. We will say how it goes in the Premier League if he joins Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I don't think his role will require him to make quite as many tackles as like a prime Fabinho had to do. Obviously, Fabinho really was that firefighter. He was left, right, and centre, mopping up mistakes, covering for Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, a lot of the time. I don't think, well, hopefully, Zubimendi, if he arrives, won't need to do quite so much of that. We'll move forward. Go on, sorry, go on.
Sorry. I would like to just add one other stat to this part. He has tackled 53.8 of tacklers or dribblers faced, and this is better than the 80% of the central midfielders. So he has a really high success rate to tackle dribblers, tackle attackers, tackle midfielders.
Oh yeah, still impressive. Yeah, okay. Yeah. He can still, when he gets in position, when he's there, he still wins his tackle. That's good. We'll look slightly further forwards now, because I think a lot of what Liverpool fans have been getting excited about when it comes to Zubimendi is, obviously, we've been crying out for a holding midfielder, a defensive-minded six, whatever you want to describe him as. But I think with Zubimendi, we are getting a little bit more than that. I think in possession, in terms of what he offers moving forwards, his progressive passes, his eye for a pass, that sort of stuff. You mentioned his press resistance as well, his ability to get out of space and manoeuvre the ball and manoeuvre his body and all that sort of stuff. What's caught your eye, Jimmy, in terms of that sort of stuff then, the more forward-thinking parts to his game?
Yes, if I see him playing, the first of all, I would recognize that he has a close control to the ball. He has a very great first touch. This is very important to note. And as you said, as you mentioned, his ball retention ability is very great. His turnover rate is one of the best in the La Liga. So he has a relatively high passing accuracy, and it's really hard to get the ball from him. He's a stable point in the build-up, or also in progressing the ball into the middle third or into the final third. So he's a typical Spanish player who has great on-the-ball abilities, who is very technically gifted, if he receives the ball, he can do a lot of things. Long passes, for example, he has 70.4 long passes accuracy, and if we compare his performance in the top 5 leagues, it's in the 75% of. He's better than 75% of midfielders. So he has a very varied, very complex arsenal or skill set.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, a bit of a do-it-all midfielder then it sounds like, which is positive.